welcome to the cost of living in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Alright, first things up, visas. Unlike most countries, you can't really get a visa on arrival automatically. What you have to do is you have to apply for a visa. But the good news is you can apply for a visa as soon as you land and get off the airplane. There's a counter right before the customs line. You fill out an application, pay the $25 fee, and then get your 30-day visa into the country. What you can do ahead of time is you can get an e-visa. Go online, pay about $25, $30, and then you get an e-visa good for 30 days. Pretty simple stuff. There's one caveat though. So it used to be that with the 1-year visa, the only requirements was you'd have to leave every 90 days and then come back. And then that got changed not too long ago down to 30 days only. Even if you get a 1-year visa and it's multiple entry, every 30 days you gotta leave and come back, which is annoying. There's alternative types of visas, but that's a longer topic for a different video. So let's talk about food. Food in Vietnam is relatively inexpensive. You can cook at home, or you can order delivery, or you can go eat out. So I've written down some of the price lists on this notepad here, just because the currency conversion is very specific to the cents. So I wanted to get everything super specific. And these are going to be averages. I've taken the low range and the high ranges, and then I'm going to give you the average cost. It gives you an idea. Alright, so for street food, on average you can expect to pay about $2.15 US. And then for food delivery, if you use the apps, there's Grab Food, there's Now Food, there's Go Viet Food, and then there's Baimin. So 4 different players. And you can always order directly from restaurants, but usually that requires you to speak Vietnamese. And then you have to pay delivery fee, which is usually about $1 US for delivery. So food delivery costs $5.16. And then if you go eat at a restaurant, like a nicer upscale restaurant, you can expect to pay on average about $8.60. So, food is pretty cheap. Like you can go to, corner on the street and then find someone selling Vietnamese sandwiches for as low as 12,000 Vietnam dong, which is like maybe 40 cents, 45 cents US, on the low end. And on the high end, somewhere around 80 cents for if you go get a Vietnamese sandwich at a bakery. There's a lot of different options of what you can, what you want to get to eat. And, on average, the food in Vietnam is pretty healthy and the portion sizes are not too big. Although there are some restaurants that give you super huge sizes. If you don't portion control, you're going to end up, getting some extra weight. And then they also got fast food here. They got McDonald's, Burger King, Jollibee's, KFC, Popeye's Chicken, and Texas Chicken. Those are the top ones off the top of my head that I can think of. And their prices are roughly close to what you would pay in US prices, but maybe like $1 or $2 cheaper than Western prices. And then groceries, you can expect to pay from between $4 to $22 for just a one grocery run, and you get a whole bunch of groceries. So we got some sausages. I'm gonna use this for breakfast, and some chicken rice, some sausage rice dish. Yep. We got pumpkin. Let's see. Here's the price. Got some white garlic, maybe shallots. Got some cherry tomatoes. Are these cherry? I think these are a little bit bigger than cherries. I can't read Vietnamese, but what I translated was these were cheaper than the beef tomatoes. And I'm gonna make tomato sauce with this later. I got some green onion, bell pepper, which is actually not too expensive. It's pretty cheap. About like 40 cents. This dessert, whatever the heck this is. I got some yogurt. Let's see, it's four containers. I bought some seasoning. This is chili powder. I got salts. I got pancake mix. I'm waiting until I get a blender, and then I'll make a different variation of pancakes. Not using flour, but for now, this will get my fix done with. This will handle my fix for a pancake. I got some bananas, just 3 bananas. Let's see. So okay price, I guess. It's like 12,000. I got another dessert here. This is like some rice dessert. What else? Oh, and I got ground pork. And then I got this big, what's this, supposedly 6 liters of water? Yeah, 6 liters of water back here. Oh, and I got these beans. I think these are black-eyed beans. Yeah, I'm gonna make chili with this, American chili. I'm gonna combine this with tomato sauce, the pepper, the onion, and then the chili powder. I'm gonna cook some rice separately. And I'm gonna combine with the okra. I don't know if I showed you guys the okra yet. Combine with the okra and make some nice American style chili. And I have onions already in the fridge, and I'll probably put like some garlic in it. Oh, it's gonna be so good. So pretty much all this stuff came out to about 300,000 roughly. So that's like what? Not even 13 US dollars. This is everything. All right, now let's talk about rent and utilities. So depending on where you live, because Ho Chi Minh is pretty spread out. There's many districts. Most of the districts are labeled by number, like District 1 through District 12. And then there's the super far out ones which have names instead of numbers. But even though like District 10 is still pretty far, so that's like an exception. They should have gave it a name instead of a number. But anyway, depending where you live, the price is going to be different. So if you live in like the central part, like District 1, the rents are going to be a little bit more expensive than if you were to live somewhere out far, like Bin Tan District or even District 7. But then even then, like District 7 is like considered the more upscale part of Ho Chi Minh. All right, so depending where you live, average cost for rent would be between 300 US all the way to 700 US, and that's not the cap. That's just like an average range you can expect to pay. You can expect to pay more, but like for around this range, on the lower end, expect to get a studio, and then on the higher end, expect to get like a 1 to 2 bedroom situation. And then if you pay more, depending on what district you're in, if you live in the center, District 1, you can expect to pay between 300 all the way to like 700 on average for a studio. You get a nice situation with like my place has like big French windows. It has like the sliding doors open up, it has a beautiful view. It has two big windows like that and a lot of lighting. And then it came with TV, internet, cable, all included, and water included also. So I just have to pay electricity separately. Now electricity in general in Ho Chi Minh, kind of expensive. They charge like about 4,000 Vietnam dong per kilowatt. So on average, depending how much you use your air conditioning, because Vietnam, it only has 2 seasons, hot and super hot. So on average, you can expect to pay maybe, like if you cut in half, average, $45 to $50 for electricity. Now the low end is like $12, and then the high end would be like $100. So depending, how much you spend, like I've had times where I ran AC almost all day for 30 days, and then at the end I had to pay roughly about $90 US for electricity. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what the electricity costs are. Right. And then cell phone service. So you can expect to pay from between $2.58 and $4.30 for 30 days. You get like a few gigs of data with super fast 4G. And Viettel is the best company because they have the most coverage in all of Vietnam. And then there's other ones like Vietnam Mobile, but Vietnam Mobile doesn't have as much coverage as Viettel. And so mileage will vary based on what you pay and what service you get. All right, this next part is transportation costs. So in Ho Chi Minh, there's no real like metro system like Bangkok has. They don't really have a train system yet. It's still being built out, but that's going to take some time before it's finished. So in the meantime, there's only about 3 different options. You can take the city bus, which I don't really take. I've taken a few times just to see what's like and what's the cost. If you take the standard city bus, you can expect to pay about 30 cents per ride. And if you take the smaller private buses, you can expect to pay about 86 cents per ride. The smaller buses are like the ones that you see in Taipei and also in Hong Kong, around like the northern areas. It's just like only seats like maybe 12 people, and you get in, tell the guy where you want to go, and then you pay him, and then that's it. And then the bigger buses, city buses, just like a standard bus, has AC, and then you get in, you pay, and then that's it. For ride-sharing apps, there's Grab and there's GoViet. GoViet is a lot cheaper than Grab. They don't have all the fees and taxes that Grab does. And so on average, for Grab, you can expect to pay between 55 cents and $1.70 per ride, depending on distance. And then for GoViet, just like do like maybe 20% off these prices, 20 to 30% off the prices, and that would be the GoViet prices. And usually GoViet, I think you can tie a card to it, but usually I end up having to pay in cash, which is kind of inconvenient because it's like such small change, and I don't usually carry such. I don't like to carry I don't usually have so many small bills. So there you go. And then rental bike. Rental bike can go from $45 all the way up to $90. Not counting deposit. I know a good place if you want to rent for a month at a time. It's called Tigit Bikes, Tigit, and they have locations all over Vietnam. One in Ho Chi Minh, one in Dalat, one up in Hanoi, and they have maybe a few in like the central Vietnam. But yeah, it's about $45 a month. You just have to pay a $200 deposit, and that's about it. And then if you do short terms, like some of the local shops, prices can get kind of expensive, and the bikes are not as good quality. We'll rent out like some rinky-dink thing that won't even run that well. I wouldn't recommend it because those bikes are like super old. They have the foot kickstarter. It can keep dying out on you. Like the idle will die out. So it's just like a nightmare. You're stuck in traffic, and then you gotta keep kicking the pedal to start it back up. Most scooters are semi-automatic, meaning there's no clutch handle. Like even if you get one that has like gears, all you do is just kick through the gears with your foot. That's it. There's no clutch to have to deal with, since everything's auto clutch. And if you get a fully automatic bike, you don't have to worry about anything. So gym costs. Gym costs on average between $16 and $25. So if you live like in a remote part like Bintan, there was a gym I went to called Gold Key, and the monthly price was only $16 a month, which like blew my mind because they had like it was a big gym, had a lot of gear, and it was pretty nice. They had air conditioning. It was only $16 a month, like compared to Taiwan and compared to Bangkok, so much cheaper. It's like I couldn't believe it when I came, and then it was like so cheap. And then on that, middle end is like $25 a month, which is what most places charge. So what you can expect is like all gear, all weights, air conditioning, clean enough facilities, and that's about it. And then if you go even cheaper, you can get something with no AC. It's just like in a big giant room, and then the weights are all over the place, and some weights don't even have labels on them, so you don't know how much weight you're picking up. It's like a hassle to navigate through everything, and then you gotta get weights from one place to another and set everything up, and then do it, and then get out, and deal with the no AC. So I recommend finding a place with AC And then on the higher end, they have like Saigon Fitness, which charges like more than $100 a month. And then they have different things like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and what else? The boxing, kickboxing, and different classes, which is all like baked into the big price. And they have swimming pools. But yeah, Saigon Fitness the price keeps going up every year. And so, if you're a baller, you got money to spend, and you want to go somewhere that's, has a lot of different people in it, Saigon Fitness. There's also places like California Fitness, but I don't go there because they try to lock you into like contracts, and the prices are ridiculous for what you get. If you want some recommendations, just let me know in the comments, and I'll put together an article listing all my recommendations. First time costs. The Bangkok cost of living video, there was a lot of first time costs. However, in Ho Chi Minh, I couldn't think of like, any real first time costs except for like cell phone service. But, first time costs related in terms of, when you move into a new place, what things you might need to buy. And so usually when you move into somewhere, everything's already, furnished for you. All the bed sheets, pillows, everything's there. You get cleaning. You might get cleaned a few times a week. Usually have a laundry machine. Or like it might be that if you have a cleaning service, they'll do laundry for you. You just put it in a basket, and then they take it away and then bring it back in a few hours. And then usually they provide towels, everything. So everything's pretty much taken care of. And then, for kitchen, usually it'll be fully stocked, all pots and pans, everything. So maybe you just might need to buy like cooking oil and, food to cook with. But that's about it. I mean, that's normal. Like you typically need, usually need to buy those things. So aside from that, I can't really think of any first-time costs. Co-working spaces. All right, so I've been to a very few amount of co-working spaces here, and the reason why is because I've had, not such great experience with them here in Ho Chi Minh. A few of them, I went to, and then the situation was that the Wi-Fi was super slow. The prices were, for what you pay and what you get, the value wasn't really there. And then a lot of these places, what happens is they tend to, like some companies, they don't want to pay for a real office space. So they just, purchase like monthly seating. And so like, it'll be like a random seating. So they'll have their employees sit around in different spaces, and they take up, most of the co-working space with the employees for this company. And so you get a weird situation of like people who come into work every day and that's their office, and then, some few select people who are just there just to get some work done on occasional time. And then the people who work there, like the people who come there every day work, they're like co-workers, so then they'll be chit-chatting, and then it'll be loud, and then it's hard to focus, and then it's just like crowded. It's like almost no space and not comfortable, and they have to sit across from somebody and get that, burning eye sensation on you while you're trying to work. And then combined with super slow Wi-Fi, almost not even worth it to go to a co-working space. Average pricing for a co-working space here, from what I've seen, is between $4 and $6 US. Every place is different, and some places have different issues. Like I seen a review on one of the bigger spaces here, that they said that like the ceiling is crumbling, or like they're doing construction and then it's like dusty everywhere. Like that's not a place I want to go work at, And then I need fast Wi-Fi. If I have to like tether on my hotspot on my phone, what's the point of even going to like a co-working space? So what I usually do, and because Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam is coffee culture country, and Ho Chi Minh City is very coffee oriented city. There's many cafes to pick from. So what I usually end up doing is I'll go to a cafe, buy coffee, sit down at a table, and then do some work for a few hours. And it's usually nice and quiet, and then the Wi-Fi is not too bad. And if the Wi-Fi is bad at one place, I can go to another place, or tether on my hotspot. But typically, like I have some cafes I like to go to. They're like really, nice and comfortable, and have decent Wi-Fi, and it's usually pretty quiet. And so, that's what I would recommend for a co-working space. Only downside is nowhere to network. At a cafe, and then co-working spaces. Like I said, there's a lot of companies that just like have the employees there, so they're busy working. They're not there to like network. They have different mindset. I probably should go look at some other spaces, and I'll probably do that in another video. I'll do a roundup review of different co-working spaces here in Ho Chi Minh, and then give you guys a rundown of some of the things that I just mentioned. Now, so for entertainment, they have bars, they have clubs here. What locals like to do is that they like to go eat hot pot in a big group and then drink. You see that everywhere. They go outdoors and do it at like a restaurant, outdoor seating restaurant. And also there's like more traditional Western things that you can do. And I've written down prices for some of these things. Things like playing pool, shooting some pool, billiards. Right, you can do that here. You can go play bowling. You can go watch movies. Movies here have original dubbing sound, audio, and then just subtitles in the local language. And then let's see, you can also go play darts, and usually those are in a bar. You can play pool at bars, and then they have dedicated places to go play pool. Now, if you want to go to a dedicated place to go play pool, you can expect to pay around $3.44 for I think like 1 hour of time or 2 hours, something like that. And then bowling, roughly like for 2 people, $4.95. And then darts, $4.30. And then movies, so they have like special pricing. If you go like at non-peak times, you can expect to pay $1.43. As low as that price for like new movies that just came out. And then on the high end, if you go like a peak timing, you can expect to pay about $3.44. Yeah, and then drinks, like I said, not a big drinker. Well, my friends usually pay on average is anywhere between $4 to $15 just for drinks. It's not too expensive here. You can get whatever, Tiger or a famous Mexican beer. It's gold in color and has like a Coca-Cola shaped bottle, which I'm not gonna name its name, and whatever, Heineken, Tiger, or Saigon beer, etc., etc. Or just like get straight up drinks, non-beer drinks, right? If you want other kinds of entertainment that's like not nightlife related, you can just go visit different cities. You can stay in Ho Chi Minh, explore around town. There's a few things to do. Or you can go on a tour, or you can go out and explore the beauty of Vietnam, there's so much to see here. So yeah, that's that. That wraps it up for all the breakdown costs. So hopefully this was insightful for you, as it was for me to put together and present to you guys. So until next time, peace.